So today our session is going to require a little bit more space maybe than before. So I've set up a slightly bigger kind of like mat area for myself, but you're going to need enough room to be able to swing your arms basically, because you're going to be swinging your arms a little bit. So if you've got enough room to kind of reach out to the sides and not hit a wall, and reach behind you and not hit a wall, then you should be good. And also if you have a block or a cushion, that might be handy just for sitting on. If you're happy sitting on the floor, if you prefer to sit on a chair for the seated exercise bit, then you could always have a small chair kind of nearby or a stool. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off. I think we've got everyone who was planning to be here. Okay. Because we've got Alan just waving at me. One final thing is that I'm going to actually be recording this session so that I can share this with you at a later point if you want. I'm planning to set up hi Hannah. Okay, so I'm going to set up a Facebook group for people that want to watch this back. So that'll be a separate service that I will be able to make available for a small fee, but I will email you about that afterwards. So if you haven't already got your cushion or chair if you need it, then grab that, and we're going to sit on the floor or on a chair or on a cushion. This is just to raise your hips, so you can either kneel or sit. I'm going to sit cross-legged because that's comfortable for me. And we're going to start again by just breathing, focusing on our breathing. So the whole of this class will focus on connecting movement and breath. So and if it helps, actually, we're going to take some nice deep slow breathing, but if it helps to place a hand on your chest or your tummy, or both, and just gently close your eyes, and I want you to focus on maybe taking 10 breaths nice and slowly, breathing in through your nose if you can, and out through the nose. Try to bring your attention to your breath. Try to notice whether the air is going into your stomach or into your chest. If your mind is wandering, just bring it back to the breath. So maybe let's take 2 more breaths. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back into the room. And we're now going to move into the kind of movements of just warming up the neck. And it's really important that when you move into a range of movement, you're breathing in, and then when you return back to a neutral kind of stance, you breathe out. So you can stay sitting where you are. If it's more comfortable to stand, then you can stand. So the first movement is just looking over your left shoulder. So as you breathe in, you're going to look over your, I actually got that the wrong way around. So you're going to breathe out as you move into the range of movement. So you're going to breathe in and lengthen your spine. And then as you breathe out, you're going to look over your left shoulder. And then breathing in to return back to the middle. And out over the right shoulder. And then into the middle. So let's do that again 2 more times. So breathing out as you look over the left shoulder. And into the middle. And out to the right shoulder. Last time. Okay, coming back to the neutral position, we're now going to do head tilting, which is exactly how it sounds. So taking a breath in to elongate upwards, and then out, tilting the left ear to the left shoulder, and then in to the middle, and out to the right shoulder. See if you notice any difference between the left and right side. Exhale as you move into the range of motion, and then in and back. Let's do one more here. Okay, and then obviously we need to look up and down. That's the last range of movement. So this time, when you breathe in, I want you to look up so that you've got some support through the spine and the neck. So when you breathe in, you'll look up, and then as you exhale, you'll bring your chin to your chest and look down. You don't need to roll your whole body forwards, but you want to feel the stretch in the sort of the back of the neck. So taking a nice deep breath in, you can tilt your head up. You don't need to let it drop back, but you just need to look up towards the ceiling, and then out as you bring your chin to your chest. We'll do 2 more of those, so breathing in and breathing out. And then coming back to neutral. So the next movement, we're actually we're going to do some spinal movements. So some of these movements do involve movement of the shoulders. If it's not comfortable, then just put your arms where they feel comfortable. Again, if you're feeling uncomfortable sitting the way you're sitting, you can move. You could come to kneel or stand. So we're going to do a spinal twist now. So this involves breathing in to elongate, and then we're going to look over the left shoulder first to initiate the movement, and then bring the right hand to the left knee and the left hand to the ground behind us. So you should be looking over your left shoulder. And then returning back to the start, you do the opposite direction. So we'll do that again together. So breathing in, elongating the spine up, and then as you breathe out, look over your left shoulder, bring your right hand to your left knee and your left hand to the floor, and if you can, try and reach towards sort of the back of you, and just hold it here for a few breaths. You should feel a twist in the spine. We're not pushing, we're just holding. One more breath. And then as you breathe out, you come back to the starting position. And we're going to take to the other side. So nice deep breath in, then up, and then out. We're looking over the right shoulder, bringing the left hand to the right knee and the right hand to the floor. And take a few deep breaths here. So as you breathe in, try to draw your head up towards the ceiling as though there's a string kind of pulling you upwards. One more breath here. And then out as we come back to the start. And so we will now do more of a lateral flexion, technical term, but it's reaching over. So if that's not comfortable for you, you can place your hand on your hip. And if you feel more comfortable sitting either on your heels, if you want to move around to a different position, you can. So I'm going to place the cushion just between my thighs and the floor, my thighs and my heels. So you can sit on a chair if that's more preferable. So in order to do the reaching kind of movement, we're going to bring the left ear to the left shoulder first as we exhale, and then you can reach out with the left hand a little bit, and you should be able to feel a little bit of a stretch there. If it's comfortable, you can bring your right arm up and then tilt over to the side, and you just want to feel a stretch just along the side of the body. And then coming back to the start position, take the breath in, and then do the same on the opposite. So right ear, right shoulder, and right hand is kind of reaching out, and then the arm is going up. So you might be on your fingertips. If you can reach a little further, you can. And then coming back to the start. Okay, so let's do that again. So reaching up and out as you breathe out, and into the start, and then up and out to the right side, and coming back. I'm going to do 2 more. So up and over. See if your fingers can go a little bit further out to the side, and then up and over to the opposite side. Back to the start. Lovely. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is actually to come to standing. So we're going to just dispose of whatever we're sitting on off to the side, and I'm just going to tilt the camera a little bit, tilt the laptop screen. Okay, so this is the exciting bit, because I have slightly creaky floorboards and Phil is asleep downstairs, so I'll try not to wake him up. But we're going to have a little shake. So I want you to start by standing hip width, feet hip width, and we're just going to start by shaking the hands out. This is a bit of a Chinese medicine one. So you just want to sort of end up flicking the kind of hands away from you, and then you're going to bring in a bit more of kind of knee action, and just try to let your body relax. You should be a little bit more energetic. Okay, and then if you want to just shake out your legs, kind of. That's great, Hannah, good job. Okay. All right, so we should be feeling a bit more loose, and you'll see why I'm doing this now. This movement is, I'm standing hip width. I know you can't probably see where my feet are, but I'm actually just wider than hip width with my feet. And we're going to do a bit of a rotation kind of movement, just to kind of bring in some rotation into the hips and the spine and the neck. So in order to start the movement, put your feet at about hip or wider, a bit wider than hip width, and bend the knees gently. And I want you to, I'm going to tilt the camera just a little bit down so you can see roughly. I'm going to see if you can see what my feet are doing. So bending my knees a little bit, my feet are toes are pointing forwards, they're not out, they're forwards. And I'm going to place my hands on my hips initially, and I'm going to drop my left knee a little bit and focus on rotating my hips away. So the left knee kind of drops in a bit, and I'm pushing with my left foot so that my hips turn towards the right side. So if you're facing that way, then just let the elastic energy return you back to the middle. So your body should just naturally want to come back to this kind of position. And you're going to use the momentum, when you do link these together, use the momentum to kind of move into the opposite direction so that your left knee drops. So you can end up kind of rocking from side to side. Now, if it's comfy, I want you to just allow your arms, slow the movement down, and then allow your arms to just kind of freely move. And you should feel a little bit like a spinning top. So we want rotation around an axis going from your head to the floor. So your head should be directly over your feet, directly over your hips. And you're just swinging the arms a bit. Bit of a weird one, but this is just to loosen the muscles and the tissues around the body. Okay, so once you've finished your movement, we're just going to do a transition across to some lunging movements. So if you come to rest now in that wide stance, we're going to continue the movement to the left side, your left. I want you to turn the left toe out and bring your right, so shift over so that you're in a lunging position. You're going to just rest on the toes of the right foot. So you're facing to the left. And if you can, bring your arms up over your head. If it's not so comfortable, arms can be resting on your hips. And I'm just going to tilt the camera back up a bit. So in this lunging position, you can be up on your toe, your right toe, or you can be on a flat heel, but I want you to be reaching up with your hands, but pushing down with your shoulders so that your shoulders are away from your ears. And you're going to take 5 nice deep breaths here. So breathing in, reach the fingers up, and out. If you can go a little bit lower with your hips, you can drop down a little bit further. Try not to let the knee move forward beyond the ankle. Should have a nice right angle. Okay, one last breath. And then we're going to come back to the middle again. We're going to do the same to the opposite side. So this time right toes swivel forwards and then left heel goes back. You're either up on your toes or you can have your foot flat. You're bringing the arms up above you, taking a nice deep breath in. Hands are up, but shoulders are down, so there should be a nice gap. If you're more comfortable here, just hands on the hip, you can do exactly the same thing. You might feel a bit of a stretch just across the front of the hip. So we're taking let's take a few more deep breaths here. Nice breath in and out. And then we're coming back to the middle. So we are now going to move on to a balancing action. So just make sure that you've got enough space behind you that you're not going to kick the wall. You want a leg's length behind you and a leg length in front of you. So we're going to do a transition in this balancing exercise where you're going to have your leg in front of you and then behind you, and the idea is not to put the foot down between, but it's okay if you do need to catch your balance. Just make sure that if you're going to fall anywhere, there's nothing dangerous around you that might cause a hazard. So if we start with our feet together on the floor, and you can place your hands on your hips for this first one. So this is a type of kung fu training movement that you do in a warm-up. So we start on our right foot, shift your weight over onto your right foot, and then when you're nicely balanced, you're going to bring the left foot up, left knee up at 90 degrees. So I don't know if you can see that, 90 degrees. And we're going to hold here for 10 seconds. If you can straighten out your leg, you might feel muscles working around the hip and the thigh, but you're going to hold for 10 seconds And then bending the knee, once you're done, try to bring the leg out behind you. So you're hinging at the hip and your leg comes out behind you, and so your upper body is parallel with the floor. If you can take your hands away, then palms facing the floor. We'll stay here for 10 seconds as well. So you're really pushing the heel towards the floor towards the wall behind you, and then coming back to the starting position. You can take a little break because there's quite a lot of work there on both of the legs. So we're going to do another 2 on this one side, and then on each side. We'll switch over. Okay, so let's start again. So both feet kind of evenly on the floor, evenly distributing our weight. Shift the weight over onto the right foot, and lifting the knee to 90 degrees, and then straighten out the leg if you can in front of you. Try to keep the hips nice and neutral. We don't want a big drop in the kind of curve of the spine. We want to be nice and upright. So let's stay here for 3, 2, 1, and bring the knee back in and under, and then shifting the weight out to the opposite direction. Push your heel towards the wall behind you, if you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then coming back to the start. Let's see if we can keep the foot off the floor. Not sure if I can. Then come straight into the next one. So if you can straighten out your leg or bring your knee in front of you. You should really feel the muscles working here and at the hip. 3, 2, 1. Bending the knee out the opposite way. So try and keep a nice steady breath. If it helps, focus on something in the middle distance in front of you. Last 3 seconds. 2, 1, and with control, if you can, come back to the start position. So there's a nice bit of a balance for you first thing in the morning. Is everyone okay with that? We all good? Awesome, okay. So let's try in the opposite leg. So if you need to just shake out, I know I can feel that right in my quad, so not even the supporting leg. So let's try on the opposite side, so we face this way. So remember, your hips need to be neutral with your spine. We don't want to let them start to curl under or for the spine to kind of lose its integrity. So if your leg just comes up to here, that's fine. If it gets up here and you're really having to bring your body forwards, then it's probably better just to lower the leg a bit. Okay, so this time we're bringing the right leg out in front. So hands on hips if it helps with balance. Bringing the weight onto the left foot and the right leg in front. We're going to hold here for 10. 3, 2, 1, and then try to bring the heel back. If you, I think I'm going to hit the wall, so I'm going to turn the foot out the window before the day's begun. If you want to bring your arms out, you can. A little bit of extra challenge. 3, 2, 1, and then back up to standing. If you can go straight through, great. So hip and knee to 90, and then straighten the knee out. Wow, my foot looks really big because it's closer to the camera. A bit of perspective. Oh, that's really. If you get any cramp in your leg, I'm starting to get a little bit of cramp in my quad. I'm just gonna give my leg a little bit of a relax. Okay. So you've probably been there for 10. So we go back, bring the leg back into, you can do an aeroplane, arms. You might notice a difference in your balance between the left and right leg as well. And then 3, 2, 1, we're coming back. Last one, if you can stay on one foot. Good. If you lose your balance, it's fine. It's not even 7:30 in the morning, so if we're here at 90, it's okay. It makes it any easier. 3, 2, 1, and then we're bringing the leg back. If you can aeroplane the arms out, try and push your heel, toes down, heel to the wall behind you. Nice, slow, steady breath, focusing on something a couple of feet away helps. 3, 2, 1, try and keep control to come back to standing. Awesome. Okay. Well done, everybody. You all look very well balanced there. It's very impressive. Right. So the next thing that we're going to do is a bit more relaxing now because we've covered quite a bit. So we're going to do a little bit of a legs up the wall just for 1 minute. So if you can come to lie down, if you can tilt your camera as well so I can see what's going on. I want you to just grab your cushion or block and bring it somewhere close to you. And come to lie on the floor. And all you need to do is just bring your hips to 90 degrees, so your lower back is flush with the floor. You can have your arms out to the sides if it helps. If you're comfy there, then you can stay there. If you feel your legs kind of starting to drop a bit, which I do, you can pop a block underneath. So it's actually easiest to do this by just lifting up and placing it under your lower back, like so. It will just stop your legs from dropping away from you. And we're just going to stay here for maybe a minute or 30 seconds. So I just want you to notice how your breathing is. So you've just done some exercise, so I can feel a little bit of breathlessness. We just want to focus on maybe taking about 10 breaths, nice slow deep breaths into the belly. If it helps to close your eyes, you can. Just want to totally relax every muscle. Just take 3 more breaths. Bring your attention to your breath. Your mind is wandering. Last breath. And when you're ready, you're going to lift your hips up and move the block or the cushion out the way and bring your legs just to firmly rest on the ground. And when you're coming up, just turn it onto one side and then come back up to sitting. So if you had any trouble with that one, but you want to try it again, you can, legs up the wall involves a wall usually. And I know that not many people would have access immediately to turn the camera and approach a wall, but having a wall to just put your legs up against can really reduce the leg drop issue. So maybe we would use that one next time. So that concludes our session today. I hope that you've enjoyed it. A little bit closer so I can see my screen. So we will finish there. If you want to access any of these recordings, then I'm sending out a message after this just to sort of check in with everyone. I'd love some feedback as well. I'm currently just in the process of trying to reach people and hopefully get more people to come and join us in the morning. So it would be really helpful to have some kind of feedback and maybe share that with the public, because unless they see or know, they don't really know what they're missing. So yeah, just look out in your inbox for an email from me, and it's really great to see you guys. Thank you so much for showing up, and I hope you have a wonderful Easter Monday, and that this hasn't burnt you out before you got started. So well done, and I'll see you next week, and I'll probably be in touch with all of you. So yeah, take care. Happy Easter.
Okay, thanks, Fiona. Bye.
Bye, guys.
See you tomorrow, Fiona, okay?
Oh, yeah, see you tomorrow, Philip. Take care. Bye.
Take care, bye.